Take a minute to feel into that. What does it actually feel like when I feel overwhelmed? What's that experience in my body? Be aware of your whole body from head to toes. Is it a tightness in the shoulders, perhaps, or your back? Is it a lack of energy? Is there kind of a collapsed type of energy? You could say those words in your mind, I'm overwhelmed, and see what they bring up for you. It might be memories of times we felt overwhelmed. Could be anything really. Our mind is really built for these associations. Just notice what happens when you say those words or you see them. I feel overwhelmed. And as always, it's helpful to work directly with the words or the images that come forward when we are looking at that word or hearing it. You can tap. If you're feeling sensation, we could let that move just a bit to the background and work with the words or the images if they feel kind of intense. Otherwise, we could just stay directly with the body, with the sensation. There's not really a perfect way to work with this. So, if words are intrusive or images, then either tap or trace. We're all familiar with that. And come back and forth between that and your body. And these sensations that are present in your body right now, really zero in on, is there a particular sensation or energy that feels like that's it? That's the overwhelm. Or that you associate this particular energy or feeling in your body with times when you feel overwhelmed. So if you woke up with that, how is it that you know that that's overwhelmed? That it's not anger or happiness or something else? There's some kind of association or something about the energy maybe. Let's take a moment to really look at that. There's whatever it is that's going on in our body, energy or sensation. And notice the location of that energy. Notice the qualities of the energy. Sometimes we have an energy that's hot and moving or cold and kind of menacing. It's so still. We might have an image of it. An energy can be quite dominant in our body, or it can be one little spot in our body. So start with that. Unless the images or words are quite intrusive and you really need to focus on them for a minute first. Drop all of the words and all of the mental part of this. Just notice the energy itself. And all energy has an ending point. So sometimes an energy will be quite contained. It's a feeling of something in our throat, but it doesn't really come up into our head or down into our chest. Other times it's a bit bigger in our body. Sometimes it'll even go outside. We'll feel like a heaviness in the chest, and it seems like it's in front of our body as well. So just really notice right now, what is the location and what are the boundaries of the sensation that feels like overwhelm. And as you're noticing that, notice if you can still feel your breath. If you stop breathing, if you're holding your breath, then you could really just move into the continuity of your breath for a moment. So, no matter what's going on in terms of maybe our breath isn't as smooth and continuous and relaxing as it often is, we haven't actually stopped breathing. We might be holding our breath a bit, but then we start breathing again. So, we could notice that as well as the energy or the sensation, the location of it, the space all around it. And notice what it feels like in the space around the sensation. So, just like if you were to tune into the space around your body, we can feel the edge of our body through the sensation and the sense perceptions in our skin. And when you put your attention to the space around your body, what does that feel like? How do you know where your body ends and the empty space begins? It's partly through sense perceptions, partly through image, through proprioception. We have a sense of where our bodies are and what the position is, what's going on in our body. And then narrow it down to the space around the outside of the sensation. Even if the sensation kind of just drifts off and it becomes less intense as it gets farther away from the center of it, at some point you can't feel that sensation anymore. So notice the space on the outside of the sensation. Put your attention there for a moment. And from the outside, can you tell that this sensation is overwhelmed? What is it about it that identifies it as this is overwhelmed? Is it the picture of it? Can you tell from the outside, from your attention on that space around it? It might be a yes, and if it is, there might be an image of it or something. You could work with the image, put a frame around that image. Take your eyes to the space on the outside of the frame. Let your eyes move around that clockwise a few times, counterclockwise. Or you could tap on it. Those two fingers on the forehead, transferring your attention away from the image, just into the sensation and sound of the tapping. And then as you're sitting and attending to the sensation from the space around it, what's your sense of moving into the interior of the sensation? What would it feel like to be right in the very center of that energy? And then let your attention shift so that now you're focusing on that location, the location where that sensation or energy in your body is the stronger. We're not being too pushy about this. Sometimes that doesn't feel comfortable, and that's okay. You could work with it however it comes up. Maybe you're still in that space around it. And as much as you could look at the world from the point of view of this sensation, what is that experience like? If this is overwhelm, is there an overwhelm about something? Is this a feeling that you remember from your whole life, or is this something that's a little bit more recent or something that's not too familiar? You're familiar with it a bit, but it's not really a place where you live. Notice that about the sensation. Notice if it's something that you could allow or maybe even welcome just for a few minutes. We're not inviting it to take over our day. Just for a few minutes, could you allow yourself to really welcome this? To let it know that you're interested in knowing more about it. Why is this here? Sometimes energy is here as a warning that we need to be paying attention. Something bad could happen. Sometimes it wants to be heard or seen. As much as possible, I'm going to give this our 100% attention. Might be with words, it might be just kind of silently sitting there, paying attention to it. If images, memories, words come up, we can look at them. We're just giving this some time, getting to know this feeling a bit more. Why is this here? Sometimes it makes a lot of sense that something's here, something's going on in our life that's directly related to it. And other times it's a bit longer term, something that we have a longer term relationship with. And really stay in touch with your breath. Notice that even as we're attending to this energy or this feeling of overwhelm, that we can still notice the flow of breath in the nostrils. Or we could notice that relaxation, relax our shoulders, our neck, all through the back of the body. We can notice the relationship that we have with the experience that we're having. Are we kind of open to paying attention to this? Are we pretty resistant to it? Are we being kind with ourselves? Are we shaming ourselves? What's happening in terms of our relationship to the experience that we're having? Just to look at this. And all of those are in the normal range of human responses. Keep coming back to your breath. What does it feel like in your body as you breathe? Can you be kind with yourself right now? Even if you have a body that's in overwhelm, even if you hate that, if you just want it to be gone, see if you could be kind with yourself. And see if you could let all of that move into the background. For a few minutes, we'll just nourish ourselves with the relaxation and with some breath. Let that come more to the front. What would be the most nourishing thing that you could do for your body right now? It might be to move around a bit. It might be to get up and go outside. It might be to take some deep breaths. Sometime when we have difficult energy or feelings in our body, we kind of limit our breath. So maybe it would be to take some deeper breath. And also, we can see what effect enlivening our breath has on a feeling of overwhelm. Just for several breaths, take some deep inhales and then really relax and let the out breath go. You even kind of give a hard sigh on the out breath. Notice the energy in your body and let yourself breathe, maybe a little less dramatically, but still quite full. Notice that sweet softness as you breathe out. For a couple of minutes, let's focus on that flow of the breath in the nostrils, just the sensation, the cooler sensation as we breathe in and the warmer sensation as the air flows back out. Let everything else move to the background. We're just going to support ourselves with our breath for a moment. Inhale, bring your attention up from the base of the nose to the eyebrow center, and then exhale, let your attention flow back down. As soon as you're finished exhaling, smoothly move into the inhale. And as soon as you finish bringing the breath in, let it go. And as you breathe out, you could allow your body to relax. You could do that as a whole. Kind of let your attention flow from head to toes and let your body soften. You could relax your forehead and eyebrows. Move on to your jaw and your mouth, neck and shoulders, to your chest and your stomach, arms and hands, your legs and feet. And then run a movie back through your mind of what happened since we first started this morning. When we first tuned into this today and we started hearing words about overwhelm, and then it started to trigger whatever thoughts we have about that. And notice what your experience was as you moved through that 20 minutes or so. Was the energy the very same all the way through? Were there times when you could soften up around it and times when you were resisting it? Were there a lot of words, memories, or was it kind of more silent in the mind and more active in the body? What happened when you took those deeper breaths? When we do inquiry like this, a big part of what we're doing is getting to know ourselves, getting to know whatever it is that's going on in our system. What did you learn just in this short inquiry? And then when you're ready, open your eyes.